In today's video, CNN confronts Democrats for endorsing a candidate who has Nazi tattoos. Also, Hakeem Jeffries just had a brutal interview where he gets exposed for being an election denier, and Sean Duffy has some bad news for California. As usual, we'll show you what both sides are saying, but let's start with this clip from Senator Chris Murphy. Take a look.
Ask you about the Maine Senate race because earlier this month you called Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner impressive, but since then obviously a lot about him has come out, including the fact that he had a Totenkopf, which is a skull head. It's the Nazi emblem for the SS. He had one of those tattooed on his chest. He's denied that he knew what the tattoo meant until recently, but CNN did find several times he discussed the Totenkopf emblem in recent years and months. Do you still think Plattner is impressive?
Yeah, I saw that reporting. I think I'm meeting with him this upcoming week, so I'm certainly interested to hear from him about it. I mean, anytime you see something like that, you scratch your head. But I've also listened to him talk about, the difficult time that he went through in his life. And frankly, it's not unfamiliar to a lot of soldiers who came back from service and had a very difficult time readjusting. So he sounds like a human being to me, a human being who made mistakes, recognizes them, and is very open about it.
Let's just pause there, because what we're starting in this video is continuing to point out the hypocrisy from Democrats to show you who they truly support, what they're willing to support if it means fighting against the president of the United States. Now, if you're a Trump supporter, you already know what the game is. But let's say you're independent and you still need more evidence to clearly demonstrate why Democrats are not in your best interest politically to be voting for. I think this is a great example of that. Now, let me just show you, because if we use Senator Murphy's logic here that, hey, he was in a dark place, he made an honest mistake. Well, here he is talking about Elon Musk. Take a listen.
What you saw is what you think you saw. Elon Musk did the Heil Hitler salute. He did. And what you were talking about is maybe the most dangerous moment in modern American political history, whereas there is a sense of endorsement from Elon Musk and a sense of entitlement and immunity given to people who are contemplating acts of violence against politicians, but specifically Democrats. That
came after they accused Elon Musk of doing a Nazi salute at that big Trump rally, which that's not what he did, but fine. At any rate, you could tell the difference in how he reacts. Elon Musk, bad. Plattner, good. And it's because Plattner is a Democrat. Now, here he goes on to, I guess, basically say he's supporting Plattner because he speaks the language that Trump supporters speak, and he's going to be able to bring Trump supporters to the Democrat Party side. Take a listen.
But yeah, certainly, I'm looking forward to sitting down and talking to him about it. He's obviously, right now performing very well in the polls in Maine. He's talking a language that speaks to a lot of middle-class voters, a lot of Trump voters that, frankly, are looking for Democrats that understand working-class concerns. And I'm looking forward to hearing from him.
So bottom line is what? If you get a Nazi tattoo and you're running for office as a Democrat, it's all good. Maybe you got it when you were in a dark place. We just want to sit down and talk to you. Make sure you say what we want you to say. It's all good, man. But if you're a Republican and you don't get a Nazi tattoo, but you get a tattoo that is rooted in religion, like Pete Hegseth did, well, then that's a problem, which is why the media said this about Pete Hegseth. Take a listen.
A lot of attention has been paid to Hegseth's tattoos. A Deus Vult one that has been adopted by white supremacists.
A tattoo of his that's been affiliated with the Christian Crusaders and white supremacists.
Pete Hegseth, he's not that terrible. It's just the fact that he has a white supremacist tattoo on him.
A tattoo on his arm that is associated with white supremacist groups.
Hegseth has a Crusader tattoo, which is tied to white nationalists.
Tattoos associated with white nationalism. Has white Christian nationalist tattoos.
The white nationalist symbol that he has on his body.
White supremacist and extremist tattoos.
He has white nationalist tattoos.
So bottom line, Senator Chris Murphy and Bernie Sanders will continue to endorse a guy who got a Nazi tattoo on his chest, lied about how ignorant he was of that tattoo because he was in Reddit chat groups arguing about tattoos in general. Yeah, that's who they are, okay? And on the Republican side, I've shown you many times, but the fact of the matter is the media has a different reaction to tattoos. Isn't that interesting? All right, so let's continue on Democrats in these elections. So as you guys have heard already, Hakeem Jeffries has officially endorsed Zohran Mamdani. And he was asked about why he did that, not once, but twice. Let's take a look at the first clip.
In New York City, city of more than 8 million people, there's about to be an election of a new mayor. You waited until this Friday, the day before early voting began, to endorse the Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani. Why did you wait so long?
As I indicated, last several weeks, we've been immersed in the intensity around the government shutdown and the run-up to that in advance of September 30th and the expiration of the fiscal year. But I support the Democratic nominee, as I indicated, and we're in alignment in terms of the issue related to affordability and the need to address it decisively for the city of New York. And of course, affordability is an issue for people all across the country.
This is very important for me, okay? Let me just ask you this. How many times have you received spam calls, spam text messages? And you're sitting there wondering, how did they get my information? Well, they got it because your personal information is being sold on the dark web. And I'm talking about your name, your email address, your mailing address, even your social security number. My wife and I were plagued with spam calls. And this is why today's video is sponsored by Aura. Aura helped us clean up our data, get it removed, stop the spam calls. It's dangerous out there. And we know the federal government isn't going to protect us. So we have to protect ourselves. That's why you have to use Aura. And not only will they get you to see what information has been sold or leaked on the internet, but they'll help you remove it and offer 24/7 monitoring. Try Aura today for free for the first 14 days by going to aura.com/Devori or click the link in the description below. You have to protect your personal data because no one else will do it for you. Again, that is aura.com/Devori. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, the excuse that Hakeem Jeffries is running with is that Zohran Mamdani is the Democrat nominee. So by default, I had to endorse him. It doesn't mean I support his policies. It doesn't mean I aligned with how radical he is. Okay, it just means that my only, loyalty is to the Democrat nominee position itself. I mean, that's the only thing I've been able to take away from these interviews from Hakeem Jeffries so far. Here is clip 2, another example of it. Take a look.
Leader, why are you backing Mamdani in the mayor's race?
Well, he's a Democratic nominee, and as he's indicated, he is relentlessly focused on the affordability of everyday New Yorkers. Of course, we know that affordability is a big concern in the city of New York, but also across this great state and throughout the nation. In an environment where Donald Trump promised that he was going to lower costs on day one, costs haven't gone down, they've gone up. Grocery costs continue to be through the roof. Housing costs out of control. Electricity bills skyrocketing, and now, of course, Rev, we face tens of millions of Americans having to confront their healthcare premiums, copays, and deductibles about to explode, with Republicans refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit. So the focus on affordability is important.
Okay, so far, what do you need to know about today? Number one, Democrats continue to prove that they're willing to endorse a Nazi, a racist, a white supremacist, if that's what it takes to fight against President Trump. I'm not calling Graham Planter that. I'm just saying they wouldn't have a problem endorsing these people. We've seen it with Jay Jones, and now we're seeing it here. Number two, you see Hakeem Jeffries getting in line. He has to endorse Zohran Mamdani because he is the Democrat nominee. That's the way the system is in New York City. There is no position for a socialist. The position is Democrat, Independent, Republican. So that's his excuse at the end of the day. And number three, which is what we're about to segue to here, Democrats are continuing to cry about the voting system. They're calling it rigged, which is why they're pushing for yes on Prop 50 in California to do their redistricting. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on an interview this morning with CNN, and he fired back at the governor. Take a listen.
As you acknowledged, this all started because of redistricting in Texas, and this was Trump pushing Republican-controlled states to throw out their current congressional maps so as to cook the books, so that it is less likely for Democrats to retake control of the House during the next year midterms. I mean, is it fair to argue that do you believe that the Republican Party is starting this?
No, Jake. There has been gerrymandering going on for 200 years. There is such extreme gerrymandering going on that in a state like Massachusetts, that has like 40% of the people voting for Trump, they have 0 representatives. The Republican Party has 0 representatives sent to the House. Think about that. In New Mexico, if 45% of the people voted for Trump and voted Republican, and 0 is sent to the House, 0 representative from the Republican Party. So there's gerrymandering, crazy gerrymandering going on all over the country, and we wanted to try to stop it in California, and we did stop it in California, and we went around the country. So I think this whole thing about finger pointing and saying they did it, so therefore we should doing it, that's not really the way to go. The one party should outperform the other party. It should be performance.
Okay, so there are two things. One, Arnold is correct, but in a perfect world, that's exactly what we would get. You know, it'd be fair and square. We would truly compete. No cheating. Let's just not be naive here. We know cheating takes place, especially at the local level. We've seen it in Michigan, for an example. People have been arrested over stuffing ballot boxes. It's nothing new. This happens all the time. They just don't want people to believe it happens on a national or federal level, okay? I still wonder till today, how does a president get 87 million votes? You guys tell me. Okay, secondly, the other thing we have to pay attention to is that Democrats have now become the very thing they accuse President Trump of being, an election denier. They go around claiming that the president's going to rig the midterm elections. Some people still believe Elon Musk stole the 2024 election, okay? Now, here is Hakeem Jeffries being confronted for this rhetoric. Take a listen.
I want to ask you about something you said. You said Democrats, there are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. You said that back in January. But recently, you've been using the term rigged elections in reference to the upcoming midterms. Democrats were appalled when President Trump used language like that. How do you justify using that now? Doesn't that undermine faith for voters you need to show up?
No, I've been using that term in the context of Donald Trump's unprecedented effort to gerrymander congressional maps in a partisan fashion all across the country in order to rig the midterm elections and deny the ability of the American people to actually decide who should be in the majority as it relates to the House of Representatives.
You know, Democrats are also going through gerrymandering and redistricting.
No. Well, Democrats are going to push back aggressively to make sure that we have fair maps across the country, not partisan gerrymandering, which Republicans have initiated in state after state after state.
He should probably stay off the TV for a while because he just continues to step into it, right? I mean, his solution or his, I guess, pushback is, you know what? If Republicans are going to do it, we're going to do it too. If Republicans break the law, we're going to break the law too, right? This continues to be a habit, by the way, just on a human behavior level. If you think about it, whatever President Trump does that they don't like, they end up doing it themselves. And you would think that the party of compassion, the party of empathy, the party of education, that they'd be intelligent enough to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to behave this way. We're going to rise above that and set the example. They're not doing any of that. In fact, in most cases, they're stooping lower than Republicans, which is what's happening in California. Now, speaking of California, here's a representative responding to what Gavin Newsom is doing and the Prop on 50 situation. Take a listen.
Well, you know, the folks who are advocating for the yes side are just tying themselves into logical knots. Yeah. They're saying gerrymandering is bad, so the solution is to gerrymander California to the hilt. The no side has a much more consistent position. It says gerrymandering is bad, so let's not gerrymander the state. And so that's why I'm voting no. That's why I encourage other people to vote no, because I don't think gerrymandering is a good thing. And voting no on Prop 50, this redistricting sham, is our one opportunity to reject it in the one place we can, which is our own state.
Yeah, and more importantly, if most Californians actually show up to the election and actually vote no, it would be a huge blow to Gavin Newsom. You guys got to understand what this man's trying to do. I mean, he's got presidential aspirations. There's no doubt about that. Getting a yes on Prop 50 would be like one of his key wins, his key moves that would spark more momentum towards the midterms for him and then leading into the primary. So it is something that's truly frightening. Now, let's circle back on Arnold Schwarzenegger because he said more about this entire situation. Take a listen.
When they say this is temporary. There is no such thing. I mean, the longest programs are government programs that are temporary. Okay, just remember that if it is a tax program or if it is the redistricting program, anything that is temporary with government is permanent. So they, in the year 2032, when the independent redistricting commission is supposed to come back, they're going to say, wait a minute, there's still gerrymandering going on in Texas. There's still gerrymandering going on in Ohio. There's still gerrymandering going on in Florida. We have to continue with the gerrymandering. This is what's going to happen. They will find an excuse. So therefore, I don't think it is temporary. So that's total fantasy. So the second thing is that you cannot cheat your way out of it. What they should do is, what the Democrats should do is they should outperform Trump. To me, it's all about competition creates performance.
And again, Democrats cannot outperform Trump. So they have to find creative ways. Now, I'm going to introduce my personal opinion. Some people may agree, some people may disagree. I think Democrats have tried 4 separate ways to defeat Trump. 1, they tried to use illegal aliens. That's why they counted them in the census. That's why they've given them so many benefits, because they want them to vote Democrat. Number 2, they got the courts involved. They try to remove the president off the ballot in some cases. They try to send the president to prison. I mean, they threw everything at him. Number 3, now they are redistricting to a point that is considerably more partisan than whatever Texas has done up to this point. I mean, you think California is a supermajority now, just wait till after this. And then number 4 is they're just going to attempt to cheat in ways that maybe we just can't see right off the top. I mean, they can get really creative, believe it or not. That's why you have mail-in ballot and not voter ID as an example.
There's this development on Friday about Democrats in Virginia calling for a special session to get involved in this redistricting fight that we're seeing play out in state after state. Trump initiated this fight in Texas, and then California Democrats trying to respond in kind. There's actually a ballot initiative also on the ballot in November in that state. The polls there show Democrats have a very good chance of winning in that ballot initiative. 62-38 is the CBS poll from just a couple of days ago about whether they support that measure. But when you're looking at the redistricting wars, the Democrats are at a deficit in trying to fight to keep up with Republicans here in a number of states in which Trump has been pushing.
So according to a CBS News poll, as you guys seen there on the screen towards the end of the clip, 62% are yes on Prop 50, 38% are no. And what that tells me is it's a lack of education, a lack of understanding, and truly a lack of critical thinking skills. We heard it throughout this past few clips that cheating does not mean you need to cheat too, okay? I mean, let's just call it what it is. 2 wrongs don't make a right. But this is the game of politics, folks. It is convoluted, it is corrupt, and it is disgusting, and it truly does not serve the needs of the American people. And that's just the unfortunate part about the United States of America. Is there an optimistic twist about it? Well, what happens is, like with President Trump, the people get fed up and then they vote someone in office that wrecks the system. That's exactly what's about to happen in New York City. Okay, so speaking of the president, he just signed another peace agreement added to the list, continues to show that this is a president for peace and not a president to steal our tax dollars to fund endless wars. And the next one on the docket is in Malaysia. Take a listen to this clip.
Today's signing represents just one of 8 conflicts that we've ended in 8 months of the Trump presidency. I'm very honored to have done it. We saved millions of lives. I'm here on a mission of friendship and goodwill and to deepen our ties of commerce, to strengthen our common security, and to really promote strongly stability, prosperity, and peace for all of the countries in this room and long beyond this room.
Here are the details of the agreement. Thailand has agreed to release 18 Cambodian soldiers held in captivity. Both sides have agreed to remove heavy weapons from the border region between both nations. This conflict, by the way, guys, goes back decades. One of the flashpoints was a dispute over a Hindu temple that bordered both countries. And Malaysia is deploying troops to ensure the fighting does not restart. Now, after his arrival here in Malaysia, and it's seen reminiscent of what we saw in the Middle East back in May, President Trump doing his famous dance with locals cheering and also dancing. Now, hanging over this visit to Asia, the meeting between President Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping, of course, that comes in South Korea in a few days. It's the first face-to-face meeting between both leaders since Trump returned to the White House.
Okay, so let's put this in the proper context. And this is exactly what I would be telling people who are, fighting against President Trump. I'd be like, don't you guys find it interesting that you spend all your time, money, and energy in these paid protests that creates these violent rioters, that creates more chaos and confusion for the American people, while the president is actually ending wars? While you guys are screaming at the top of your lungs about democracy, he's actually displaying what democracy looks like by going on these trips overseas and getting these peace agreements. And we're not just talking about one, we're up to 10, as the president just said. I mean, I think that's such a stark difference between the mindsets and what the priorities are based on the two different parties in this administration. Now, here's what the president had to say about all of it. Take a listen.
This is one of 8 wars that my administration has ended in just 8 months. We're averaging one a month. There is only one left, although I heard that Pakistan and Afghanistan have started up, but I'll get that solved very quickly. I know them both, and the Pakistan, the field marshal and the prime minister are great people, and I have no doubt we're going to get that done quickly. That one started up a few days ago. And I just feel it's something I can do. I do it nicely. I don't need to do it, I guess, but if I can take time and save millions of lives, that's really a great thing. I can't think of anything better to do. But the 8 wars that my administration has ended in just 8 months, there's never been anything like that. Never. There never will be either.
Okay, so the bigger picture here that we all have to continue to remind ourselves, and this is really just the brutal truth of politics, is that what you're seeing from the president is nothing short of historic. Ending 10 wars is a true accomplishment. Going after China, smart. Tariffs, smart play. But that's icing on the cake. The cake itself is the state of the economy. Come next spring, how will the American people feel about the economy? Is it going in the right direction or is it going in the wrong direction? That will be the ultimate judgment. Everything the president is doing, cracking down on crime, mass deportation, ending wars, that's icing. When people go to cast their vote, they're thinking about their bank account. And I think he's done a lot, but we have to see what does the economy look like next year. And I think that is the full picture. All right, let's go to Sean Duffy in this next update. He delivers bad news for Gavin Newsom and the commercial driver's license program in that state. Take a listen.
You say that you are threatening to strip California of the ability to issue commercial driver's licenses. Tell me about that, because I know that California already has issued approximately 1.2 million driver's licenses to illegal immigrants since 2015. 19 states and Washington, D.C. allow illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses, Secretary.
It's unbelievable. So real quick, there's what's called a non-domiciled CDL. Normally, this is if you come from Wisconsin and you're a citizen of Wisconsin, you go to Texas, you can get a non-domiciled CDL, but you're an American citizen. Democrats have contorted this rule. They've abused the rule, and they've allowed now foreigners to get a non-domiciled CDL. That's what California has done. They have unlawfully issued 60,000 of these licenses to people who have come into the country, and they've done it illegally. So you have 60,000 people on the roads who shouldn't have licenses. They're driving fuel tankers, they're driving school buses, and we've seen some of the crashes on American roadways that come from these people who shouldn't have these licenses. Gavin Newsom has thumbed his nose at us. He's refused to comply with the rules that have come from DOT, which is stop issuing these licenses, number one. And number two, go back and review all the licenses that you have issued and make sure it's been done legally.
Well, something has changed because they have this notice now on their website. It says, until further notice, the California DMV cannot issue, reissue, or renew limited term legal presence, non-domicile commercial driver's license, CDLs. So it's exactly what Sean Duffy was saying. So clearly, they are responding. Now, does it fix the damage that's been done? Absolutely not. Will they comply with all of the demands from the Trump administration? Absolutely not. We're talking about California here, but I will say this. They are now on notice, and they've been exposed. And to make matters worse, Sean Duffy is talking about pulling $160 million in federal funds over this stuff. Take a listen.
I'm about to pull $160 million from California. And as we pull more money, we also have the option of pulling California's ability to issue commercial driver's licenses. Gavin Newsom cares more about illegals getting commercial driver's licenses than he does the citizens of his own state and the safety of Americans. It's shameful. He's been lying about what he's been doing. And again, we're gonna fight tooth and nail under President Trump's administration to make sure that we hold states like California accountable.
Are they trying to get those illegals to use that license to vote?
Well, that's a great question. And how do you verify someone's ID and someone's legal status? Oftentimes it's done by way of a driver's license. And so that's one of our concerns. That falls outside of DOT. I set the rules of the road, but I need our other partners to continue to investigate. Again, if you're an illegal, you should have some, you shouldn't have a license, but if we have states that do give those licenses, there should be some kind of identifier that shows that you're not a legal citizen of this country, which would trigger someone to say, then you can't vote.
Well, number one, it doesn't matter in California because voter ID is illegal. So, I mean, even if you wanted to go down that road and you enforce that, it's not going to change in California. They've thought about it all at this point. I mean, the fact that they can't ask about your ID, the fact that they do not verify your citizenship regarding anything just continues to prove that they are far gone, okay? And pulling $160 million is really nothing for California if you guys think about it. But hopefully it's a start in holding them accountable. So let's hear from you guys in the comments section. First, starting with Senator Chris Murphy, who continues to endorse Graham Planter, the guy who got the Nazi tattoo and then lied about being ignorant of what the tattoo meant. Even CNN exposed him of lying about it. Also, what do you make of Gavin Newsom and his efforts to get Prop 50 passed in this special election, which is next week? Arnold Schwarzenegger has even come out and rebuked it. Do you agree with his take? And then finally, what do you make of Sean Duffy announcing that they're willing to pull $160 million of federal funds due to the nonsense happening in California regarding the commercial driver's license program, which clearly 60,000 illegals were able to receive? Just give me all your thoughts and everything you got in the comments section below. All right, this takes us to our next video where Gavin Newsom had a meltdown yesterday because the DOJ announced that they would be sending election monitors to certain counties in California during this special election. If you guys missed out on that update and more from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.